And good afternoon, people. Don't you touch that dial. Don't you do it. Hi, my name is Gregory T. Roberts, and you're listening to Torn in Two for this March the 18th, 2022. Good afternoon. We have a lot to talk about today. First, Pastor Burns won't be here, my assistant. It's just me today. It's just me today, and I wanted it to be that way, and let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. I'm very transparent. I don't hide anything. Um, but I want to talk to you about what's going on, what's happening. In my household, we have what's called family meetings. All right. We have family meetings. Anyone in the family can call a family meeting at any time. They At that time when we call a family meeting, we call, okay, we're gonna have a family meeting at 6 o'clock. That person can bring up whatever they want to talk about. We talk about it, discuss it, end the deal. Muskegon, it's time for a family meeting, and I've got to talk to you about some stuff. Before I talk to you about some, I got to thank the producer, Lady J, PA, Big Rob, and Q for all they do at the station. If you're listening to it and would like to take part of the show, what you can do is go to Facebook or go to any of our sites, 103.7 The Beat, WVS, or M106. And you can follow the show. You can ask questions and do what you need to do. But we need to have a family meeting. We've got to have a family meeting today. There's a couple things that I want to talk to you about today. And it's just me. It's just me. But I gotta talk to you about some stuff. And you've seen it. But somebody needs to break this stuff down. And so I'm going to do it. As you know, there's a war in Ukraine. We're going to go national first, okay? There's a war in Ukraine. We got President Zelensky in Ukraine, and the villain, the president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin. I got to break this down and talk to you people because a lot of people don't understand. I was talking to somebody from the radio station. They said it's a heaviness in Muskegon. It's a heaviness in this country, and it's a heaviness in this world right now. And he's correct. It is a heaviness, and guess who's doing that heaviness? Guess who's controlling that? What's happening in the good old USA? It's Putin of Russia. Let me say that again. The gas prices that you see and you're complaining about and you are blaming Biden for, go back to that war that's happening in Ukraine. I want to talk about that. Why it's so important that we break this down, because remember when they were trying to pass a bill to make this country better? And the Republicans and the Democrats fought, and they couldn't pass any bills to make our country great, to make our roads better. Excuse me, to make our roads better. Well, they have given billions of dollars to help the people of Ukraine. Now, I don't want to sound insensitive. I think what's happening over there is a travesty. I think the lives that are being lost is unnecessary. Russia. But with that said, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for a peaceful resolution to this. But let me tell you, when you have a dictator president that don't care about his people, you don't care if they die. He don't care about that. He don't care about Ukraine. And he especially don't care about this country, people. If you don't wake up and see that war in Ukraine is bigger than what's happening in that region, it's about what's happening in the world. For instance, we buy 3% somewhere around there oil from Russia. Can I ask you this question? Why? Why are we doing that? We just signed, the president just signed a bill uh, just a couple of days ago, to consolidate appropriate Appreciations Act of 2022. Now, that act will fund the government till September, but what's in that bill is 13.6 billion more dollars to help the people in Ukraine. Let me say that again. $13.6 billion to Ukraine. And the thing is that I understand that you need to help the people. But do you know that there are other countries? How about this country? How about our schools? How about our roads? How about our bridges? How about uh, education? You name it. How about all the things that we need help for, but we don't get? It's a big fight then. President Zelensky of Ukraine spoke to Congress and got a standing ovation the other day. Which, hey, again, I'm praying for what's happening in Ukraine. I want it to end peacefully. You got a standing ovation from all of Congress, but we can't get a standing ovation to help the people in this country. Hello, I'm just going to keep it real today. We're going to have a family meeting, and so let me see. People are already coming up. Marianne, how you doing? Marianne, what you got to say today? She said, have to be careful with the videos. News people take it to heart. I'm from Ukraine. People to stay safe. But the pics of the press on front of, I mean, she's right at what she's saying. She says, prayers for them all, the U.S. We need to take care of the homeless, the hungry, the veterans, and the people and all that kind of stuff. And I sliced up what she said, but she's absolutely right. We're not taking care of our veterans. We're not taking care of the homeless people. We're not taking care of our people ourselves. And if you look at the educational system, our education system is broke. The prison system is broke. Everything is broke. But as soon as this country, something happens, we're easily get involved in somebody else's business. I'll take your questions. I'll take, please give me the questions. Marianne back and says, and the elderly care, especially, we don't take care of our elderly. But we'll send billions and billions of dollars somewhere else. And here's the other thing. If they're fighting over in Ukraine, and why are we spending so much money and we're getting other countries, Germany, England, Poland, all the other countries that are over there need to step up. And with that said, the president is going to have a conversation with China, the president of China. And that conversation with him needs to be, listen, you need to talk to Russia and end this senseless war. But even though, if that doesn't happen, if a conversation with China doesn't happen, whatever, I need you people to understand that look at all the money that we're sending over to the Ukraine. And should we help people? Yes. But should we help people in Africa that are starving? Yes. Should we help people that are cold in other countries? Yes. That don't have food? Yes. But should we take care of home first? Should we take care of home first? We're not doing it. We're not doing it. It is so simple. It is so simple for them to send money other places, but your kid can't read. They're in high school, but can't read past the third grade level. Come on, people, think. And this heaviness that you feel at the gas pump, don't blame that on Biden. Stop it. Just stop it. Just stop it. That's called greed. And why, people, I need y'all to think. Why are we relying on Russia and OPEC to get our gas when we can take care of that here? Do you know that the price of the barrel of crude oil is over $100 now? Oh, over $100 a barrel now. Somebody's getting rich. And hold on, let me go back to Marianne. She says China is about power and money. Russia is about power and oppression and people. Control. Yeah, she's speaking the truth here. Neither cares what the other does to everyone else. And she's right. And here's the other thing. While we're talking about Russia and why we're buying gas from Russia, I have no idea. The second thing is why are we even dealing with them? Russia will always be Russia. Now, also, while this is happening, I want you to take a look at the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones, somebody is getting rich because the Dow Jones continues to go up. Now, while y'all might be looking at March Madness because of basketball, y'all need to look at some things and understand when, let's say, President Biden wanted to tax people that made $444,000 to make this country better, you guys went, half of y'all went, no, we don't want taxes. Wait a minute. Do you know that the top 3 or 4 companies in this country pays no taxes? No taxes. But you want to protect those people. And it all comes back to this. We send all this money to these countries to help these people in aid, which we should help people. But you know what? We don't have people that pay their fair share. And that's another conversation. And more countries, hold on. Man, long-term, big picture, U.S. oil is available, but it sits. Yeah, she says that, but it sits. It's for when we rest on the world. When we rest on the world, runs out, they have no choice but to come to us. Yeah, you're right. Linda Moore Vines, these questions are coming fast, so I'm trying to read them and get them into you. At the risk of sounding heartless, I feel for the people of Ukraine. Yet, as you said, take care of home. We send billions to other countries, and none of the money ever returns to us. People need to think and consider their alliances. And more questions. Back to Marianne. If I work 40 hours, then other 40 of that overtime of my company is paying double. My taxes are increased, and I basically work the access for free. Yeah, see, some people get it. Some people get it that you are sitting up there working hard day by day. You're feeling this heaviness because you're paying money at the pump. You're sitting up trying to buy groceries you can't buy because it's not on the shelves. We don't have enough truck drivers, but yet we're sending billions of dollars all over the place, including Ukraine. Not to sound heartless, like Linda said, but we need to take care of home. So here's some questions that I have when it comes down. This war is terrible. It's terrible. Why aren't other countries taking a vast interest? I know we are a superpower, but why aren't other countries taking a vast interest in this? Number 2, when there is oil in this country and you don't need to drill for oil in state parks, let me get that clear. There's accessible oil that we can drill for. But people don't want to do that. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. The reason why people don't want to do that because we want to buy cheap. We want to buy cheap. It may cost a little more money for us to give some American person a job to drill for that oil, but we'd rather go to OPEC or Russia to get that gas. So we go back to the war. We are going to continue giving money to Ukraine. We're going to continue to arm them. And if we're not too careful, people, they're going to ask for a fly zone. They're asking for it right now. That means dragging us deeper into this mess. I'm going to end this segment and say this. We need to be very careful what happens over there in Ukraine. And you're sitting up there thinking, nah, it has nothing to do with me. I'm in America. I'm in the home of the free and the brave. It has everything to do with you until you step up and say, enough is enough. Help countries. But you know what? There are a lot of other countries. Matter of fact, help my county. Help my city. Help us. We need jobs. We need better roads. We're in a war zone. We have, I'm going to end it that way. I'm just going to end it that way. Listen, people, wake up. We're going to take a break, and I'm going to talk to you about prescriptions. You're listening and watching the Torn in Two on 103.7 The Beat. See you in a couple minutes.
The wait is over. The all-new Umoja Radio Network, home to over 40 black-owned radio stations and podcasts, is here for you. Connect to the world's fastest-growing collection of unapologetically black and proud media, from podcasts to independent black-owned radio stations, and access to the important news and music you need. Umoja Radio is from our culture, by our culture, for our culture. The all-new Umoja Radio is available right now on Google Play and the Apple Store. Join the movement. Be empowered.
The second annual I Am Her Feminine Hygiene Drive, supporting young ladies from Ghana, Africa, in need of everyday essentials and feminine hygiene products, was a great success. Thanks to the generosity of our community and organizations like Period.org, Muskegon Heights Public School Academy, Confident Cosmetics, Muskegon Heights Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Inc., and everyone who made a contribution, hundreds of young ladies and village members received essential items. The community made a lasting impact with more than 10,000 sanitation items donated. If you would like to help, donations can be made year-round by dropping off items in the donation shed at the Mays and Wright Media Center, located at 1877 Peck Street, or making a contribution to paypal.me/1037thebeats. For more information, call 231-727-5007. Thank you for supporting I Am Her Foundation.
Welcome back to 22. Hi, I'm your host, Gregory T. Roberts, and let me take a deep breath and exhale and calm down. I know I'm excited because people, I care about this country. I care about our kids, and our kids are going to get screwed out of what they need because our country is just wasting money away. Now, here's the second question. The second thing I wanted to discuss today is, and this kind of ties on to us like buying oil for Russian. Okay, I want you to take out your medicine that you take every day. I want you to take out your prescriptions, and I want you to ask yourself a question. Where are most of those prescriptions made from? Take a guess. I just want you to take a guess where insulin and stuff to help your cholesterol and all this stuff, this medicine that is very important to your daily life, is made. Well, here we go. It's made in two countries, and most, I'm just going to tell you, China and India. China and India are making most of the drugs that you take every day. Can I say why in the world? I know why. And let me tell you, it's because we go back to that number again. It's cheaper to make those drugs in India, in China, or and guess whose fault some of this is? Let's take those TVs that you want. You want that 65-inch TV, but you want it cheap. Well, guess what? It's made in China. It's not made here. Whatever happened to the thing made in the USA? Okay, so let's get back to your prescription drugs that you take every day. We had a guy on last week that talked about they have their vitamins made, and their vitamins made in a very classy way in this country, by the way. That provides jobs for people here. People here. We should not be at the hands of other countries. Let me say that again. Let's say if we got into a war with China right now, or a dispute with China, or we got in a dispute with India, and they're making most of our drugs, what the heck do you think is going to happen? People, wake up. Do you think anybody should have control of the very medicines that you take? And the reason, like I say, a lot of this reason is greed, people. It's greed. It's flat out greed. Thanks for the music. It's flat out greed. There are countries here that are sitting to have those things made in those countries because they can get it manufactured much cheaper and bring it back to this country and sell it for a whole lot of money. And we're too busy arguing and wearing our red hats and our blue hats, and we're too busy arguing. People, we have got to come together right now. That spirit of heaviness that I was talking to my brother is here. The days when the United States in trauma would come together, we're in trouble, because I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. We're facing major crises, and we're sitting back and choosing sides. So going back to the prescriptions, we got rich companies that we can name that are their headquarters might be in the United States, but they're making those drugs in other places. This is what I'm afraid of. Again, what happens if what happens if I need that prescription, but we fall in dire straits with China? Now, I know this family meeting, some of y'all, I don't want to listen to it. I don't want to hear it. But you need to hear it, because we receive so much stuff from China and India, and we just sit up here. Now, look, prime example, our shelves. Look at our shelves right now. Our shelves on a lot of stuff. You can't get a lot of stuff because it comes from other countries. And now all the stuff is on boats, and we don't have enough truckers to get that stuff throughout the country, so the shelves are bare. And we're sitting up watching this happen. Michael Anthony Smith, how you doing? I missed you last week, man. He says, come on, man. It's too much money to lose if products are not made overseas. And see, you're right. You're right. Mike Anthony Smith from Houston, Texas is right. It's cheaper to get stuff made in other countries. But here's my question. What happens again, like what's happening in Russia with that 3% of oil that we buy from them, all of a sudden our gas prices go up and we're affected. We're affected. Going back to Michael Anthony Smith, he says lobbyists in Washington are not going to allow Congress to make a change. You know what? Again, another great thing that he said. And here's the thing. Right now is election time. People are trying to get you to sign all kinds of things so they can run for office. Term limits have come in. And I keep saying to you people on this show, this is not about a blue show or a red show. This is about a fact show. This is about a fact show. So why is it that we're going to sit up there and let all this happen where drugs are manufactured in other countries? It just don't make no sense. Man, the question is, thank you so much, people, for just blowing up the show. And I'm trying to read, people, excuse me, I have my glasses. And Marianne says, and they're owned by non-citizens, not a plane in the sky. They don't have at least one part from Hamet in Whitehall. That's absolutely right, man. But it's owned by a German, it's owned by Germany. They said, who isn't even allowed the production floor to see what it owns? People, wow. Here's another thing. Linda Moore Vines, exactly. Michael Anthony Smith, you are exactly right. Let the questions keep coming. I'll get them out as fast as I can because you guys are writing them up. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, please check in our Facebook 103.7 to BWUVS or M106. Even if you disagree, let's have that family discussion today. You know, when we have lobbyists saying that, come on, because of greed, like I told you, check right now and look at the Dow Jones. Look at it. Look at the numbers. And that's even due for, you think recession is coming? You wait till they have an adjustment on the Dow Jones. But right now, it's in the blue. In other words, people are making money. And guess what? That ain't me with the hat and the shirt. And that ain't you unless you have a 401k and you making a little bit. But companies and people are making money. And guess what? They're making money on the war and they're making money on prescription drugs. So now, let me take a deep breath and take a sip. Okay, here's the next thing I want to talk to you about today. It is the bottom of the hour. I want to talk to you about, are you talking to your kids doing all this stuff? Are you speaking to your teenagers about what's happening in the world? Are you breaking it down, getting to their level and understanding that they don't have to have the spirit of fear? They don't have to do that. But are you breaking it down and talking to your kids because there's a lot of stuff that's going on that will affect them and they need to understand? Or are you sit up glued to that TV watching the war, watching the gas prices, and coming up and you putting on a red hat or blue hat instead of putting on a red, white, and blue hat to talk about this country? Want to go back to Marianne. Marianne says, yes, and my son decided to join the Marine Corps to help. Bless his soul. Bless his soul. That, what you just said, it don't happen like the good old days when something, we would have trauma, like 9/11. When that happened, a bunch of people, that was the last time where we had people that, when this country came together, and people said, you know what, maybe I need to get my soul right and go to church and get my relationship together. And people joined the military and said they want this country to be unified. But we don't do that right now. So are you talking to your kids about what is happening in this country? If you have not, break it down to them. Break it down to them. There have been cases, now you've known the cases. I don't have to go back and talk about Floyd and all of the things that have happened. But if you are not talking to your kids, you are missing a grand opportunity, because if you don't talk to them, they're going to get some information from somebody else. And I can guarantee it will be on the streets, and I can guarantee it's going to be, brother, don't worry about that stuff. How about you come on this corner and sell some stuff? Or how about you come and fight for this little area that you don't even own and represent? So my second point is that right now, we need, I know we got a lot of stuff going on, but we got to get to the point where we are back in the good old days where people learn at home. What are you talking about? Right now, people expect their children to learn everything at school. They're supposed to learn everything at school. Wait a minute. Not in my day. It was like, okay, you better be in before that light comes on, that street light comes on. You better have your homework done. You're going to graduate on time. I don't care if we didn't have food sometimes, the lights were off sometimes, we didn't have water sometimes because we were poor. But just because you're poor don't mean you can just sit up and give up. Your kids deserve better. And man, I'm trying to get this stuff in. Let's go back to Marianne. Right now, they turn the TV off. That's right, turn the TV off. They look the other way, just like when they don't see racism. It ain't right. On the doorstep, they don't care. That's from Marianne. Linda Moore Vines says, I seriously doubt that our people are having that conversation. It's going to be a rocky road for the next 2 or 3 years. They need to prepare. Sacrifices will be made, and some will not survive the financial setbacks this country will throw at us. Very good stuff, people. And that's what we need to realize is that Putin, let me tell y'all something, and I'll get back to the kids. Putin is sitting up laughing up a storm because he's affecting the whole world. Right now he's affecting the whole world. He doesn't care about his own man dying. He doesn't even care about bombing the country, which he's proven, because he's bombing hospitals, he's bombing shelters, they're killing people that are standing in line and bread. People, wake up. So talk to your kids. Then number 2, y'all should be complaining to your congresspeople about what's going on. Number 3, there's that spirit of heaviness that is going on, and there are good things that could be going on, like you doing activities with your kids. If you got young kids, what activities are you doing? What activities are you planning? And let me tell you another thing, and this is for the city of Muskegon County, Muskegon. If you think that the Boys and Girls Club can handle all the problems that are going on in this county, you are sadly mistaken. They can only help a few. So that's the next thing. Are you talking to your kids? Back to Marianne. She says, and let me get to it, if Putin succeeds in Ukraine, the rest will fall like dominoes. Hello? If we don't get involved smartly, people, we just can't just throw money. Yes, we help. Helping a man, help. Give money and help. But you know what? There are other people that need to step up. What I'm trying to get at is that old saying, made in the USA, needs to come back. Purchased and produced in the USA needs to come back. And right now we don't have it. Now we're going to do another commercial break, and then I got to talk to about one of the saddest issues other than that war. You watching and listening to Torn in Two on March 18th on 103.7 The Beat and M106. We'll see you in a second.
When smoking gives you COPD, you learn to lie a little bit. You make up excuses like, I have to get my keys. You guys go on. Anything so you can walk at your own pace. I used to do that all the time. Those lies don't work anymore. My tip is, the worst lies are the lies you tell yourself. Like smoking isn't that dangerous.
You can quit. For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
As an Olympic athlete, I prepare for everything. So when I became pregnant, I thought I was ready. But at 32 weeks, I was diagnosed with severe preeclampsia and had an emergency C-section. Looking back, had I known the warning signs, I would have talked to my doctor sooner. Too many women die of pregnancy-related complications, and most are preventable. If you or someone you know is pregnant or recently had a baby, learn the warning signs. It could help save her life. Hear her.
And welcome back to Torn in Two for this March 18th, 2022. I just have to say this. If you have a church with a gym or open spaces, if you have a building that you have room in, why don't you do some activities for the youth? Why don't you do some activities for the youth? I hear rain, so it's raining outside. Because they are our future. And you need to invest in them. Now, speaking of invest, March 17, 2022, an article was written, but it happened a couple of days ago, and I have to talk about is one of those heavy things like the war, but this goes to another issue that I want to talk about. This happened in Texas. 9 people were killed, including a golf team, college team. Most of them were killed when a pickup truck crossed the line at a high speed and killed them. What I want to talk about, that the person that kid was driving was a 13-year-old boy. Let me say that again. The person that crossed the highway to drive, that was driving, that struck that van, was a 13-year-old boy. Now, what even makes this story even more bizarre was his dad was on the other seat, letting his 13-year-old drive. And God rest his soul, he lost his life in that crash. Which brings me up to this point. That college team was New Mexico college drivers. Why in the world? I know that at some point our kids need to learn how to drive. Yeah, I get that. But you know what? Why in the world did a 13-year-old kid be on the road and let this happen? It says Ricky Simeon, 13-year-old, was driving the truck when it blew a tire and crashed into an oncoming bus. Driving on the road is difficult enough, being at an older age. Having a flat tire driving is difficult. But being a 13-year-old kid, what in the world have we come to let him drive and let this happen? Now 9 people are dead, including his dad. All this stuff is going on, people, and we're too busy staring at the TV and not looking at our children. Wake up, people. There's certain things that a 13-year-old can't handle is driving a big old vehicle down the road and something happens. There's a time and place for everything. If you want your kid to learn how to drive, take them in the field or something, but don't let him drive down the highway. Now, this kid's going to have to live with that. The mother is beside herself. The dad is dead. And the school that I mentioned lost golfers. And nobody is going to be the same. Nobody's going to be the same. So what do we do from here, people? All this stuff is going on, not to even mention the trials that are happening in court that are still happening. The spirit of heaviness has to be dealt with. What? The spirit of heaviness has to be dealt with. Let me give you some clues and some ideas on how you need to deal with this. Number one, if you are a parent, you need to be talking to your kids. And number two, not expecting the teachers to teach them everything. Let me say that again. Kids should go to school to get an education. Learning life, that's on you, parents. And parents, if you're spending your time and you're not doing this stuff, shame on you. Now, do we get it right, parents? Not necessarily, but at least make an effort to do it. Don't put a 13-year-old behind the wheel and say, son, drive. They were going to get a new car. It was a joyous occasion, but they put them on the road, and anything can happen at any time. So that 13-year-old will have to live that his father died and several others from that golf team. How do we get out of this, Muskegon? I'm going to tell you how we get out of this. I told you, you need to be talking and educating your kids at home. And how about this? Disciplining your kids at home. When your kids get to the age where they need to learn how to drive, do it the appropriate way. Don't put them on the highway and let something like this happen. Number two, stop looking for handouts. You might need a hand up, but to get that hand up, you get that hand up and then go help somebody. Because right now we have a whole bunch of teenagers and a whole bunch of senior citizens and a whole bunch of vets and a whole bunch of people that are sitting out there that need our help. Number three, and I want to give you this story because this actually happened to me at a restaurant. We walked in a restaurant with one waitress who was running the place with a brand new cook, and she was beside herself. We actually bust our own tables. We bust other people's tables. We poured coffee for the people, and she was just nearly in tears. We even prayed for her. People, I want to talk to the people right there that are sitting at home, and if you're living off the government and you can go back to work, please go back to work. You can get a job just about any place making anything right now. That's going to end pretty soon. Please go back to work. This country needs it. You need it. And it'll make you better. The next point I wanted to say. Oh my gosh. Turn off the TV. Don't let the TV depress you into a point where you're thinking about killing yourself or you can't exist because you're looking at all the injustices of what is happening in the world. Let me tell you, people, for all the bad things that are happening out there, there are a lot of great things that are happening out there, great stories that you don't see. You know why? Because bad news sells, good news does not. Let me say that again. Bad news sells. A truck guy killed a 13-year-old that kills people, that sells. Play the crap out of it. In Ukraine, a guy crossing the street that stayed there to watch his tomatoes. He got shot. It sells. Somebody giving some money for kids to go to college does not sell, so you won't see it. That you're not going to see that. Somebody that gets out of prison and starts a business and hires somebody else, you're not going to see that. You're not going to see all the good things that are happening. So people, go out and teach your kids and teach yourself that there are good things going on. Be part of the solution and not part of the problem. You know, there are people starving too. And I want to talk about this too. There's still people starving, and there are people with lights and stuff that are not on right now. Be part of the solution. So I'm going to wrap all this up in 13 minutes, starting from Russia, Ukraine. There's a war. Sad things happen in war. We need, as America, to support. But what we need is to look at our own country with our bad education system, with our bad prison system, with our bad wealth, rich, poor distribution. We need to look at that. And on and on and on. We need to look at this country and say, we are broke. We are broke. Benita says exactly. Thank you. We are broke. I mean, if you took part of that money that you sent over to the Ukraine, and please feel my heart, because I want a peaceful solution to what's happening over there. But this country's broke. And there's rich and poor. And let me say this again. There's no middle class anymore. There's rich and poor. You may be living kind of comfortably, but you are poor. People are $400 away from a disaster. You didn't know that, did you? People are $400 away from a disaster that they can't handle. You can't even buy a car now because they can't make the chips to make new cars. So we got to, people, United States, Muskegon County, we got to step up. So we talked about educating our kids. We talk about disciplining our kids. Yeah, I said discipline, but smartly disciplined, not the way that I got it. When I got whooped, it was like a Bugs Bunny cartoon with the lights going off and I'm seeing Tweety Bird, all that kind of stuff. That stuff ain't necessary. But you got to discipline your children. Please discipline your children. The next thing that we need to do is, again, I said, don't rely on your teachers. Thank you, teachers, for what you do. But teachers, I'm going to speak to you right now. You need to take a vast interest in what your job is, and that's to educate our kids to the best of your ability. Let me say that again, teachers. You have a job. I understand it's hard. I was a coach for 30 some odd years. But you have an obligation to teach your kids and not give up. Okay, so we need the teachers to get involved, but do their part. Don't expect them to discipline, because what they're going to do is give them a slip and send them home, or try to send them home. 250. The next thing that we got to do, and I'm just telling you, we're having this family meeting. This family meeting, you need to have family meetings at home. You need to be able to talk to your kids, and your kids need to be able to talk to you. None of this stuff, I'm grown, you don't talk to me that way. Kids, if you're out there and you got questions, go talk to your children, go talk to your parents, or whatever home that you're in. Please go talk to them about what's Ukraine, where is Russia, what does he mean about prescriptions and all this kind of stuff. Let's see, let's go to, we got more stuff going on. I'm trying to, great dialogue and much needed attention to the truth of what's going on in this country. I wish more people were listening in. You know what? It hopefully it will. This is an important decision that needs to be heard regularly. And as you said, parents need to step up and always be their first teacher. Thank you, Linda Moore Vines. She said it best. She said it best. And okay, next step, and I see it here, and I'm going to use them. Hopefully, he won't mind. I'm going to use PA. I'm going to use Big Rob. I'm going to use Q, and I'm going to use Lady J. I'm going to just use the radio staff here. They mentor more people. I see Big Rob, people like a drill sergeant, because he's mentoring men to be kids to grow up to be men. If you're out there and you have time, take an opportunity to mentor some people. Take on a kid that is sitting up there that's doing nothing, because if you don't do it, let me tell you, there's a drug person or somebody doing something that they shouldn't be doing. Come on, people, wake up. Wake up. Because when we were kids, who did we look up to? We looked up to the people that had money. That's who we looked up. I want to go back to the questions and dialogue. Marianne says, Queen Nisi as well. She says, I am so blessed to have her advice and input. Who are you thankful for? We have a war going on. We got the spirit of heaviness going on. We got a divided country going on. We got 13-year-old kids killing people. Everything you see on the news and TV is divided or bad. You have police incidents. Yeah, and let's face it, not all police are bad police. Can I say that? But we need to get rid of this thing where there are a few bad apples. Well, police, can I say this? You need to govern your own and get rid of those bad apples. People, this is a family meeting that is well overdue. We need to get busy. 7 minutes left on this show. How can we correct this going on? The next thing, we need to face this thing here. And I want you to really think about what you're doing here. If you make $400 and some odd $1,000 plus, or if you are in the 1% group of people, you guys need to pay your taxes, because guess who's paying those taxes? The poor. And we need you to pay that money so that money can go to help the problems of this country. Let me say that again, because I think I may have said it too fast and the plate won't get passed and people will walk out. If you make money, stop avoiding paying taxes. Everybody should pay their fair share, because the reason why we need that money is because when these things happen in Ukraine and these things of the rich getting richer by having drugs made in India, like we talked about, or a dad trying to maybe teach his kid at 13 how to drive on a highway. We need people to deal with that. And this is the next thing that I want to talk about too. That 13-year-old is going to need help forever. One of the things we run away from is therapy. I'm going to say that again. Some of you have people or you need therapy. Don't hide on drugs. Don't hide in the bottom of a bottle. You have bad things that happen to you. You need to get that out of your system. This is a family meeting, and I'm just calling it like it is. Julius Muhammad says, and let me get to that. I want to be on your show to continue this conversation. We will take care of that, sir. We got to continue, and he's right about we got to continue the conversation. It just can't be the big fat guy with the hat and the checkered shirt that look like Greg Brady. It can't be just one person banging on a mallet. Or banging or talking to you on the mallet. More questions and Let's see, man, mental health is going to definitely be a factor, whether from the trauma of being behind the wheel or the grief of losing his dad and the others. That's it. I want to go to Julius Muhammad. We need to talk about prevention. Absolutely. That's a great idea. All this stuff that I talked to you about, our kids and your mental health and all this stuff, instead of waiting till your leg falls off and then go to the hospital, why don't we talk? We talked about this last week. You look pretty. You got the 22-inch rims. Your nails are done. Your hair is did. You look great, and you are a mess. And you won't get help. And there's a therapy. More opinions, man. Exactly. Especially as a male, people will say, "Be tough and don't cry." I heard that 1,000 times. Boys need to know they can get therapy and have emotional problems. Very, very good. Back to Julius Muhammad. You're doing a great job. Keep doing it. Good. Thank you, sir. I wrestle every week, and our producer, we wrestle to try to bring you the truth every week. This week we decided to say no guests. We decided to say there's problems that we need to deal with here in this country, in this state, in this county, in your city or township. So the Russia-Ukraine thing is happening. We want to be a part, but we need to say, take care of home. We want better schools. And I know it's by taxes, by school district. You know what? We need to face the fact that education is an international thing. If kids in France and kids in China and Japan can learn several different languages, why are we expecting our kids only to learn English? Okay, I got to go to Anthony Smith from Houston. Economics and leadership, social programs. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And I want to thank everybody that commented today. I know, I talked about some heavy stuff, but here's the thing. Make it better. Make it better. Go out there and sow a seed in somebody's life and make things better. Men, let me tell you something. Get in a group, and women, get with some like-minded people. Matter of fact, T.D. Jakes said this: get with people that make you feel stupid, that challenge you to be better than you are. So that's the end of the family meeting I called today. Maybe we'll call a family meeting in next month. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Entitlement. Better than others. Mentality. We need to stop that. Well, that's the end of the family meeting. That's the end of the show. I will see you next week. I'm Gregory Roberts, your host. Thank you for watching and listening to Touring 2. We'll see you next week. Take care. God bless.
The wait is over. The all-new Umoja Radio Network, home to over